was temporary. It wasn't like this was going to be this lifelong thing. It was in that mode, that season that I was in, I needed to commit to waking up a little earlier to work on this particular thing. And you know what? I did. What's up, heroes? This is execution week. You've got your big goal, you've got your dream, you've got your vision. You have this new pursuit that you're on for the year, this thing you want to accomplish. You've got a plan in place. You know what you need to do every day to accomplish that goal. Now, how do you follow through? Now, how do you execute? How do you be consistent? How do you make sure that you stay on target, stay on task to do what you have to do every day so that you can hit this goal and produce what you're trying to produce? Inevitably, when anyone starts off on a journey of trying to, they've got a new process, a new routine, a new thing that they're trying to produce or spend time on, inevitably they'll come and hit this brick wall, which is time. Gosh, I just don't have enough time. I want to meditate more and read more for my own personal development, but gosh, I just don't have enough time. Gosh, I want to work out more and pay attention to my health and fitness, and I downloaded the app and I signed up for the gym and I paid for this new service, but gosh, I just don't have enough time. Gosh, I got this hobby over here, this passion project. I'm trying to write this book, or I'm trying to start this new online business, and I know I need to spend time doing this, but gosh, I just don't have the time. You ever find that you constantly say this to yourself, that you just don't have time to do these things that you know will push you towards your goal, but gosh, where are you gonna have the time? And most of the time they're personal related. I say I call the whirlwind, right? The whirlwind typically revolves around our work or our professional goals. People typically wake up and dive right into, servicing the world or all these other things. And typically our personal goals are the things that get pushed to the back burner. So those are the things that most of the time we come up with, where we have this excuse of not having enough time. And so today I want to help you eliminate that excuse. I want to help equip you with a superpower that crushes all excuses of not having enough time. And it comes down to waking up earlier. Now I know, you're already a morning hero, so, this might be a little review for you, but it's always good to hear it again, that waking up earlier kills any excuse you have about time. Gosh, I don't have enough time. I gotta get up and I gotta do service work, and I don't have time to work on this passion project. I don't have time to read more. I don't have time to journal and do yoga. Well, can you wake up a little earlier to do those things? Gosh, I got my family, I got my kids, and I got things to do at home. And when I get up, the world's already starting. I don't have time for this online business that I'm trying to start. I don't have time for this new hobby, this new skill that I'm trying to develop, this online class that I signed up for that I still haven't taken. I just don't have time for those things. Well, can you wake up a little earlier to do those things that right now you say you don't have time for? Whatever your excuse is, I can always come back and say, can you wake up a little earlier to work on those things that right now you don't have time for? I remember when I was trying to train for a marathon. This was at the beginning of the year. Every year I take on a new challenge, a way to challenge myself to build a discipline. And I had just read the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And if you haven't read that book, it'll get you jazzed and juiced and motivated. So I just read David Goggins, and I was like excited and ready to take on the world. So I signed up for a half marathon. I'm not a runner. I'd never run long distance before. And so I signed up for a half marathon, and I was going to go off, and that was my goal for the year, was to accomplish a half marathon. And my plan was to get up every day, and at the end of the day, when I came home from work, go for a run. So I needed to start training for this marathon. So I had my shoes set by the door, and I had my running clothes all laid out, laying right on the couch in a nice pretty pile. And the plan was, as soon as I got in from the day, I'd immediately change and go right back out and go for a run. The first week of this plan, I didn't go for a run one time. 2 weeks went by and I still hadn't gone for a run. And every day I'd come in and I'm like, okay, I'm doing it today. Today I'm going for a run. And I'd come home and I would just be wiped out. I mean, my whirlwind is heavy. I was already, at that time, I was waking up at 4 in the morning. I have these morning accountability calls that start at 5. So I wake up at 4. I would, run coaching practices and put together videos and do filming all day long. And by the time I got home, there was just nothing left in the tank. And so what I did was I asked myself, okay, this isn't working. Not only do I not have enough time, I don't have enough energy. It's not just time, energy is there too. I just didn't have the energy. I get home and I'm like, look, all I want to do is just sit in front of Netflix right now. I need to unwind. I deserve the unwind. Like, I've been working hard all day. I'll do it tomorrow. And so I found that every day that was my excuse. So I said, what can I do about this? I was already waking up at 4. I was like, well, realistic, can I wake up earlier? Like, what can I do? I could wake up earlier, right? I was like, gosh, that's 3 in the morning. But I was like, to be honest, that's the only way I'm gonna find time to do it, is I have to get up, commit to waking up earlier. So I did. And you know what, the first couple days was uncomfortable, getting up at 3 in the morning, but you know what? It was temporary. It wasn't like this was gonna be this lifelong thing. It was in that mode, that season that I was in, I needed to commit to waking up a little earlier to work on this particular thing, right? It wasn't this lifelong thing. It was like, can I commit for the next 3 months to getting up at 3 just so I can train for this half marathon? And you know what, I did. And I got consistent. As a matter of fact, it got to the point where the first 3 days were tough, but after the first 3 das, I actually started looking forward to waking up and going for this run. And so every day I would get up and I would go train, and you know what? I accomplished that goal. I ended up running this half marathon, something I had never done before, and it completely like fulfilled me. It expanded my world. It showed me what I was capable of. It had all these, mental, emotional, and spiritual benefits that I was able to complete this goal, all because I was able to commit to getting up a little earlier every day so that I can work on it. I just needed to commit just for that temporary season that I was in to waking up a little earlier so that I can work on it. So I don't know what it is that you may be struggling with that you don't have time for. I want to challenge you. If you find that you don't have time for something, can you commit to waking up just a little bit earlier to work on that thing? Can you get up a little earlier to work on your mental practice, to do your prayer and meditation, to do your journaling, the things that's going to fulfill you mentally and spiritually? Can you get up a little earlier to work on your fitness, to do your workout, to do your yoga, to do your stretching, the things that's going to keep your body in check? Can you get up a little earlier to work on your business, to work on your passion project, to work on your side hustle, to take an online course or class that's going to develop you and move you forward in your finances and your professional life? Whatever you're struggling with right now, can you commit to waking up a little earlier to do that thing? Because here's what's going to happen. Well, here's what you'll notice. And if you look at, this is kind of like your motivation levels throughout the day. And if I were to draw a curve, and this is based off of cortisol. So your cortisol is basically your adrenaline hormone. It's the umph that you have. It's your juice. And so if you were to draw out your, let's call it your juice level. Your juice level throughout the day, this is what it looks like. In the morning is when you'll find you're at your highest motivation. This is where you peak from a motivation standpoint, from a mental capacity standpoint. You can think more clearly and you process things and solve problems. You're at a peak from a physical standpoint. You have more physical energy. In the morning is when you have the most motivation, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental energy to work on things. But most people will put things off till later in the day. Oh, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. And here's where it's going to be tough to be consistent. So committing to trying to building time in the morning is where you have your highest motivation, your highest mental capacity, your highest physical energy to work on things. So whatever you're saying you don't have time for, what would that look like if you woke up a little earlier and you took advantage of your highest motivation level to work on it first thing in the morning? So this is my challenge. Whatever you're struggling with, to find time to do, to find time to invest in, to find time to spend on, wherever you're struggling on that, can you wake up a little earlier? And I guarantee that's where you'll find your superpower, and you'll get consistent. And that's where you'll find your accomplishment. All right, now it's your turn. What will you commit to waking up a little earlier to work on each day? All right, see you, heroes.